We appreciate your company on the polls today. We start here. It has been 4 days since the arrest of the embattled Ashanti regional chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Enchiboisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi. He remains in the custody of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, after failing to meet his bail conditions. However, there is now a glimmer of hope. Joy News has learned that the former Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, has stepped in to secure a second surety for his relief. So far, Wontumi's lawyers have managed to secure one of the two required sureties for the 50 million cedis bail over the past 48 hours. Now, the minority caucus, for example, has described the bail condition as excessive. On Thursday, they staged a walkout in Parliament and marched to EOCO headquarters, where they had a sit-down protest demanding his release. Here is what transpired yesterday.
In a show of defiance and solidarity, minority members of parliament abandoned the business of the House and marched through the streets to the EOCO headquarters. The protest follows the arrest and detention of Chairman Wontumi, who was picked up by EOCO after reporting to the CID. He faces allegations of causing financial loss to the state. Though he was granted bail of 50 million cedis with two sureties, both to be justified, he remains in custody, unable to meet the full conditions. Second Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Jerry Ahmed Shaib, questioned the legality of keeping Wontumi in custody beyond 48 hours.
We are not against accountability. What we are against is the breaches. How do you keep someone under custody for more than 48 hours without allowing the person to go through due process? Why would we want to do this? Why is it persecution or prosecution? What is it that we are looking for as a unit, as Ghana? Are we thinking of proper governance, or we are just thinking of going after people? The disregard for Article 14, the disregard for Article 296, it's just worrisome, and we need to step up now.
The MPs arrived at EOCO headquarters hoping to be heard, but the agency's gates remained shut. No official came forward.
Well, we are making that arrangement through you, because from Parliament we came here. So far, nobody has made himself available. Yes, that's what I'm talking to. Yes, please. Grateful. Yes, sir.
Oh, I just see the MPs sitting on the floor as part of the grievances.
What followed was a rare sight. Elected lawmakers sitting on the road, staging a silent civil protest. A gesture, they say, speaks to the urgency and injustice of the moment.
Headquarters, in a Rambo style, he's arrested. You interrogate him, he makes himself available. Your next thing is that go and bring title property worth 50 million cedis. What kind of country are we in? Have they looked at the constitution? They should vary the bail term. The man is unwell. He's in their custody. They know.
But the standoff continued with no audience granted by EOCO. As tensions simmered on the road, so did emotions in a growing crowd nearby.
I don't came to observe things. I just want to give a blind argument, because they've given a person back to his lawyer, they've given him bail.
This is witch hunting. It's not right. What is not right? This is raw witch hunting. You understand me? Because all of us are in Ghana. Wontumi hasn't been given any government appointment.
But not everyone shared that view. Some felt the minorities' walkout was unnecessary drama.
This is politics. It's not law, it's politics. And that is why we have to draw the attention to it, that this is unacceptable. They are using the coercive power of the state in an attempt to intimidate political opponents.
As the sun beat down on the protesting MPs, it became clear this was more than a legal battle. It had become a political standoff. Chairman Wontumi remains behind bars, and the minority says Parliament will remain empty of their voices until he is released or his bail conditions are eased.
Those in charge must be professional. What is happening to Wontumi can happen to me today, tomorrow. It can happen to my respected senior here tomorrow. My mother here. Enough is enough. We are not just going to walk away. Oh. We are not just going to walk away. We'll be here.
As night falls, Chairman Wontumi remains locked up and the minority is digging in for a prolonged battle, vowing not to return until they are heard and the original chairman walks free.
What happened to Mr. Bernard NPP, known as Chairman Wontumi, is nothing short of a national disgrace. It is a stain on our conscience and a threat to every citizen who still believes that Ghana is a land governed by laws. This was not an arrest. It was a clear ambush. It was a calculated display of brute force.
Tonight, the standoff continues. EOCO is yet to publicly respond to the minority's demands, but Chairman Wontumi's arrest has lit a political wrath, one that could burn for days if he's unable to meet the bail conditions or secure a variation from EOCO.
Meanwhile, the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NPP, Divine Agohom, says the party is considering legal action to seek a variation of the bail conditions. He spoke to my colleague James Aveji at the EOCO headquarters.
Very nicely. Attention appears to be on Wontumi now, and nobody is talking. You, the media, you are not talking about, what happened, Wontumi's arrest and all that. So we think it's a strategic move that they've done, in my view, and it appears to be working for them. But for now, our interest is to get our guy out of, their place. And
do you have any information on the activities the minority caucus in Parliament have started yesterday? They left indicating to us that they'll be back here this morning. Is the minority leadership also there? Do you have any indication when they'll be coming?
They'll be coming. We are waiting for them. They are not yet here. That's why we are here. That's why we are here. For me, the gentleman in question is cooperating with the law enforcement agency, and we should have just allowed that. Because he's not running away. The question everybody is asking is that CID invited him and he came. He's been here. He's cooperating with them. Then granting him bail and picking him again. I mean, you look at it, this thing, we need to stop. Because NDC will not be in power forever. It will change. And we are not expecting that should NPP come tomorrow, which is very likely, we should also do the same thing. Do you understand? For me, if the issue looks like somebody who can run away, then that one you can. But the person is already cooperating with CID, State Security Agency, and then EOCO comes in, and it's quite a complex thing. But
as far as you are concerned, you are convinced that he would be granted bail today. No matter what it is, he will get out of EOCO.
If I should be saying I am convinced, that's what we are looking for, and that's why we are here. But
for that,
I'm convinced, you see, the condition appears too harsh, and we are finding it difficult to, to accept it. Okay, to accept it. So if it becomes the case that legally all that we're trying to do, we're not able to, succeed, then we'll find a way of, even if we have to pull resources from different angles to be able to meet the bail condition, then that would be the option. But whatever it is, we think that the legal processes must be, encouraged, must be allowed to go on. But the Rambo style of arrest and the clear intention to kind of hold on to him or deny him bail, you see, to say that you are asking this huge amount of money as a condition, for the bail, clearly means that your intention is to hold him there. Basically, that's what they are trying to.
Well, you may be wondering why Chairman Wontumi is being held up or is being investigated. Now, with matters escalating, Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Justice Ramsai, in a social media post, has disclosed that EOCO has slapped Chairman Wontumi with multiple charges, including the alleged involvement in international organized crime scheme, which I shall just be showing you on your screen shortly. Now, Wontumi's arrest and detention, update from Deputy AG. He says suspect Bernard Enchi Boesiaku, a.k.a. Chairman Wontumi, is under investigation for various criminal offences, including fraud, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. That is the update that the Deputy Attorney General has been giving us. Continues to say that the criminal investigation is running concurrently with asset recovery processes to prevent further dissipation of what law enforcement agencies strongly suspect is proceeds of crime. By way of updates, this came in yesterday. A little later, we'll take you to EOCO headquarters when the Vice President arrives and whatever that's happening there. But still stay with me. Well, the Bolgatanga Central MP Isaac Adongo has criticized the NPP minority's U-turn on boycotting parliamentary proceedings in support of Chairman Wontumi. On Thursday, the minority caucus announced that they would boycott all parliamentary business until NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Boycott was released from EOCO custody. However, less than 24 hours later, NPP MPs returned to the floor, even though Chairman Wontumi remains in EOCO full custody. And Mr. Adonko believes this action by the minority caucus amounts to a betrayal.
I think to me, we're very, very sad that you are here talking. He was expecting you to sleep at EOCO with him. You abandoned him to sleep there. And today, you promised the people of Ghana that you abandon this chamber. You are here making a lot of arguments. Wontumi, you people should tell Wontumi his people are deceiving him. And he's sleeping there alone and they are here, arguing for more holidays. Honorable Adongo. Mr. Speaker, that is what they made us believe. Chairman of the committee, we were surprised when they were sitting on the ground there. Honorable but when we went there at 7, they had disappeared.
Still on the NPP, EOCO and Chairman Wontumi, the New Patriotic Party in the Ashanti region has strongly condemned the arrest and continued detention of its chairman, Bernard Boycott, calling it violation of democratic principles. Party leaders criticized the sudden transfer of Chairman Wontumi from the Criminal Investigation Department, which you know as CID, to the Economic and Organized Crime Office, which you know as EOCO, questioning the necessity and transparency of EOCO's role. They also claim his family and lawyers have been denied access and that he has been deprived of medical attention. At a press conference in Kumasi, NPP Regional Secretary Kwame Adomapia said legal processes had been blatantly abused, describing Wontumi's detention as a clear display of power. I shall bring you that a bit later, but let me now take you to EOCO headquarters where my colleague James Aveji is and will bring us updates as to what's happening currently. James, has the Vice President arrived? Has the minority as well arrived? What's the situation like at EOCO headquarters?
The situation is building up, tension is building up here at the EOCO head office here in Accra, where the police have been doing a number of deployments in the last 1 hour. We saw a police bus bringing a number of police officers, about 20 of them I counted, where they came in here and made a brief stop in front of the EOCO office, and then they drove all the way to the Atamels High Street traffic light. I'll come back briefly, but we just have Honorable Titus Glover coming in here. Let's speak what his address briefly, and then I'll give you an update of what has been happening in the course of the day all up to this afternoon.
Those things. So I think that clearly you can see the political undertone. This is purely persecution. But there's a saying we say in Ghana, literally, or by translation, a kite cannot be in the air forever. it will definitely come down. So if the NDC and the president and Ramonacha think they have power, so they are using it excessively to intimidate MPP and for that matter, Chairman Wontumi, then they have lost it. On day one, Tuesday when he was arrested, like a Rambo style, I said the spirit of the elephant is strong and united. You can't break it. It's rather emboldening us. It's encouraging us to stand united as a political party. And we'll work hard. So whatever they are doing, they should continue. They should continue and do it. We'll even clap for them. But Chairman Wontumi will definitely come out. Okay? You come out.
Have you read the charges that have been leveled against?
I'm not interested.
Why are you not interested?
I'm not interested in the charges.
Why?
Because nobody in the NPP will support anybody who has breached with the law. Nobody. If they believe that Chairman Wontumi has a problem with the law, they shall arrange him to court. That Exim Bank matter is a civil matter. The Exim Bank, if he has taken loan from Exim Bank, you only file a suit in court and you go and make his case. But you don't hold him here like a Rambo style, want to show force, show power, that you are Roman Archer, NDC power, so you show Wontumi. They can go ahead and do whatever they want to do. But definitely, people have been talked to support so that we can meet the big conditions, and our brother will come out.
Honorable, has the second surety been secured, the full bail condition met?
Yeah. I just landed here. So this question is very difficult for me to answer. So we'll wait and see whatever happens. Our prayer is that those friends who have been talked to will be able to support and meet a bail condition. But like I said, what is good for the goose? What is good for the goose? Jemona.
It must be good for the Ghanaian.
Absolutely. So they should continue.
Right.
But MPP will come to power. We'll work very hard. We'll work so hard. We'll unite our party and come to power. So they should continue. If they are laughing at the side of their mouths, oh, what now want to me $1 million, $1 they can go ahead. Excuse me, God. They can go ahead and do it. They are clapping, they are laughing. If I show no, okay, show no, Kashamuko.
Is that a promise of retaliation if government changes power?
Anything. If it's retaliation, so what? There are people, I was in parliament for 2 terms. Haruna Idrisu, Nilante van der Poy, Amako Fibua. There was MPs who were taking double salaries. I know for a fact that when government had wanted to prosecute them, our own MPs, our leadership, have to go and plead with President Akufo-Addo. So please, we know how democratic you are. They've all heard. Leave them. And President Akufo-Addo agreed. For the sake of peace and sanctity of this country, you understand? When Ibrahim Omar signed that checks, you remember? Those checks that he signed, he clears goods from the port, and the checks that he issued, well, didn't go through. That alone, they should have held him before court. When we came to power, we said no. He's a businessman. But please, arrange and go and satisfy whatever debt you owe and go and do it. Why didn't you take my brother Ibrahim to EOCO? Why didn't you help him to police? But we believe that we'll build a country together. The fact that he had problem with his check that didn't go through, for those monies to come to government, he said, look, find a way and pay back. And he did pay. That is how you build a country. But because Wontumi is a political face, so you want to use that opportunity to persecute him, to car him down, I can tell you, Wontumi's spirit is as high as this pole. So we want to assure President Mahama, he's been given the power to govern. All the orchestra that he's doing to get off the Chief Justice is a way trying to amend the Constitution. I've said it and will repeat it. President Mahama third term will never happen.
Never.
If you think he can sack the Chief Justice, he want to sack the way they are doing. NDC people are running commentaries of all the charges they are levying against the Chief Justice. Sami Javiada, they sit on the national television And they say all kinds of funny things against the Chief Justice. Today she has filed an affidavit in support. They said no, they will not allow her. All she's asking for, let the public know what is happening. Let the public know. Is this too much to ask? These are all a calculated attempt by the president, his government, his party. Because President Mama said when they come, they will deal with the Chief Justice. Didn't you hear? Didn't you listen at the political platform? And today, when he says asking for capping of the justices of the Supreme Court, he talk about capping. It means that he wants to have a limit. Today, he has brought 7. What does it mean? You say one thing today, then you change your mind another time. They said the what? Increase cocoa prices. Have they increased it?
With the appointment of the CJs, do you expect your caucus in Parliament to, use whatever means they could to stop the approval of these justices to the Supreme Court?
Looking at our numbers, there's nothing that the minority can do. But all we can say is that we need to drum home hard to let the world know the injustice that the President Mama and his government and party are meting out to the Chief Justice. What has she done? Tell me, what has she done to warrant all these things? It's a dent on our democracy. This happened in the days of Kwame Nkrumah, Justice Kosa, the Chief Justice at the time. That is why in the 1992 Constitution, we have to put in structures to put before you take the justice. This is what you have to go through. But even that, what has she done? They said what? She traveled with the husband and the daughter. Is that a way of dismissing a Chief Justice? And the woman said, look, let the public know what you are taking me through. In the first place, when you even receive the petition against the Chief Justice, you send it to public, sorry. You didn't even give her a copy until she made the announcement that, please, I need to have a copy of those who are making those recommendations against me. Nobody did. So until she made those demand, before the president said, okay, let's blah, 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 blah. But the point is, what has she done?
But as far as this particular issue is concerned, you are assuring or hopeful that Chairman Wontumi should leave the EOCO premises by close of today?
My prayer is that he should leave the premise of EOCO today. This past 48 hours, isn't it? But I'm saying that right from the word go, they knew what they wanted to do. It was an agenda to make sure they keep him more than the 48 hours. But the law that established EOCO is not bigger than the constitution of this country. The rights to life, the non-derogable rights, is a human right, not to be under slavery, not under torture, and the right to life.
There are people who believe that he's been released before the 48 hours of his arrest. And so if his lawyers believe that the bail terms are too hefty, they could go to court to seek for variation, which they haven't done in the last 2 days.
That is another option. That is another route. But I'm saying that why in the beginning did you peg the bail condition at 50 million Ghana cedis?
You're questioning that.
So clearly it tells you the political persecution they want to do for Chairman Wontumi. So clearly that's the matter. And surprisingly, the media, we thank you very much. You'll be here from Tuesday. But a lot of things that is going on. On Tuesday, I did mention it. You know Galamsey is worse in John Mama's time? You know that? Go to the ports and you see the number of excavators that are being imported into the country. And they're all going to the mining areas of these Galamsey areas. Today, under President Mahama, Galamsey is as worse than anything. Where are our pastors? Where are the pastors? The only group I've heard them talking is the Catholic Bishop Conference. Yesterday, I was watching the news, and it was scrolling. And I saw the Catholic Bishop Conference saying that he should go ahead and declare the state of emergency in these mining areas. Why are they mute? Where are the Otabels? Where are Duncan Williams? There is this pastor who shouts so much. That's Sakura pastor. What's his name? Kofi Odro. Where is he? Where's Kofi Odro?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Cool down. Don't run away. Multimedia, you were part of the campaign against him.
You know.
Come to Galamsey, you said a lot of
Honorable, I am sure that when you listen to the news, multimedia still has the campaign on as far as Galamsey is concerned.
So don't take the microphone from me.
No, it is. You know we do this with time. That's why I'm signaling you that it's getting to time so that I can report on the other.
Whoever is in the studio, tell him that I said they should talk more
Or the Galamsey, which we are doing everything.
Emboldened. The executives have been emboldened, empowered, because John Mama is the president, and they are now going to the forests. Have you seen the rivers, the cobras, the pra, the tunnel? Is how gone?
Thank you. And so that is Honorable Glover there, near Titus Glover there. I mean, on a lot of issues, from the issue happening here to issues of injustice, he say is happening under this under this government. And so that's what he's been talking about, also bemoaning the surge in Galamsey or illegal mining under this government, contrary to the promise we had about the government coming to fight Galamsey, calling on the government to act, as well as civil society organizations and Christian organizations, to all make sure that they put pressure on government to live to its expectation. MFA, let me now take you to the frontage of the EOCO headquarters, where security beef-up activities has been happening since afternoon. About midday, a bus from the Ghana Police Service was here to drop a number of police officers. I counted about 20 of those police officers who the Ghana Police Service bus dropped here to beef up security as far as the EOCO headquarters is concerned. And just after that, you see a number of police pickups also coming to drop a number of more police officers. That followed the visit of the Greater Accra Regional Police Commander's visit to the place. You see Honorable Glover there in some interactions with the police there. I'm sure he is asking for an update of situations, as well as would want to get access to the premises of the EOCO office. And so that's what's happening in your shot as we speak. A number of the party faithfuls are here, cladded in red. A number of them have the red claddings on their head, some around their neck, as well as their arms, in full protest against the continuous detention of Chairman Wontumi. Honorable Glover is coming back. Let me try and pick from him what he's been talking to the police about. Honorable, you've been having some interactions with the police. What have you been inquiring from them?
Oh, I asked them whereabouts of our regional chairman Wontumi, and they claim to be evasive. They said they don't know where he is. And I'm asking them, you are keeping security here, and you don't know where our brother is. They are still saying they don't know where he is. So I asked the deputy to look. He's also saying that he doesn't know where Chairman Wontumi is. So
these are the police officials?
Yeah, these are the commander and the deputy and the other police officers around. They said they don't know where he is. So the question you asked was, where is our brother? Where have they taken him to? When I was coming, I heard your sister station, Asempa, saying that every evening they have to take him to the BNI clinic or something. Okay. That's what, in fact, I was hearing as a OB talking.
That's the indication we also got yesterday, that he's been in and out of this place and the hospital.
He need to take his medications. He need to take his medication. On Tuesday when I was here, he was denied. He was denied from taking his medication. That alone is a human rights matter. Fine, you have kept in your custody. You have access, he has time that he's supposed to take his medication. When you deny him that, indirectly you want him to die. That is wickedness. Don't you think so? That is wickedness.
Is needed to help get chairman out.
It's a form of solidarity. There's a saying in a can, today it is Chairman Wontumi. Do you know who the next person will be? So it's a form of solidarity. So for me, even if President Akufo-Addo is in town and he has time, he should pass through. For the world to know how Ghana's democracy has been reduced to. I just talked about the non-derogable rights. It is a right that you need to make sure you protect it. The right to life, free from torture, and free from slavery. What Chairman Wontumi has been subjected to is a form of slavery and torture. His life is at risk. His life is at risk. It's a human rights matter. So they knew what they were doing. That's why they pegged the bail condition at 50 million Ghana cedis. It is not easy to move around for people. And even, you see, what they are doing is a way of trying to get up people who have properties, who will come out, even for them to come after them.
You believe so?
Oh, don't trust these NDC people. Don't trust these NDC people, John Mama and his people. It's a way if somebody has any property worth so much, they will come back and dig and find out how you got your money. All that is going on, the world is watching. I want to appeal to the president. He said he's resetting. And if you are resetting, is that how you reset?
Is that reason why it's been difficult to get people to provide a security for him in the last 48 hours?
I strongly think so. Because raising 50 million cedis, and it's going to be no one person, pocket, few. 1 million, 500,000, 200, okay? You know, then you bring them together. It is not easy. And I'm telling you, the political undertone behind some of these things, the eye cannot see. So people are even coming up to even show their faces so that they can use their properties as sureties. But the good ones will come. Those who are courage enough can come out.
Dr. Bawumia's presence here, you expect should make a huge difference?
Why not? He was a former president. If they should give him access to see his brother, why not? Except where the police will say that they don't allow him to see him. At least he must see his condition, the way he's faring. It is right. They will not allow anybody to see him. Not the regional minister and the former vice president. Former regional minister, former vice president, and few of his team that will come. At least we need to see his condition, how he's doing. It is not only the EOCO people and the officers who should need to examine him and look at how he's faring.
Yesterday, your former colleagues, if I say your former colleagues, the MPs were here sitting. I mean, do you have any indication whether they will be back here?
I wish they should come back because from their presentation yesterday, I heard they are boycotting proceedings and subsequently until he's released. And I wish they all come around. I will join them. They should come. By this time, here should be choked. Here all should be choked to send a signal to the world that Ghana's democracy is not going well. So people need to let the president know that the angle he's taking this country to was not like that. Seriously, I'm quite concerned and worried the trajectory at which it is going. So I think that the world need to know the attention of the world has to come here. After what has he done? If you believe that he has done something wrong, take him to court. Just like they did with Dubai. When the Dubai started talking, with that state security money.
Well, yeah, welcome back to The Pulse. We're still live on the grounds at EOCO headquarters and where he's been slapped, Chairman Wontumi, with multiple alleged involvement of international organized crime. Now, we have joining us this afternoon his lawyer Apia Kubi. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, lawyer.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Right, where's your client, please?
My client is still in the custody of EOCO and indeed specifically at the clinic where he's receiving medical attention.
Okay, shall I ask, what is wrong with him?
Well, he hasn't been well even since last week, and he is still recuperating.
Okay. We've been learning that he's been on some hunger strike. Is this accurate?
No, that I know. 2 days ago in the evening, I had dinner with him, and I'm going to see him now. I'm going to see him now, so after seeing him, I will be able to respond if this happened today or yesterday.
Okay. As of yesterday, we know that one of the sureties had been, you can confirm that you have one surety, but what we've been waiting for is the second, which we have the indication that the former vice president has promised to provide the second surety so he can meet his bail bond conditions. Is this accurate as well? Have you gotten the second one?
That information is exactly correct. I don't have any information of the former vice president standing surety or declaring his intention to stand surety. I know for a fact that I have one surety person whose documents I'm expecting it right now, and the second surety is also preparing to bring the documents here. So the possibility of filing both sureties before the close of the day today.
Okay, you're hoping that you're able to file both sureties for him to meet the bail conditions so he can be released from detention. Is this what I hear you say? Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, but prior to today, what was the challenge in seeking the bail variation? Since most of his colleagues in the party thought that the 50 million was quite excessive.
Well, yes, all of us believe that the 30 million and the surety and the justification for both was most difficult and was hard and most unfair. And we also thought of a possibility of exercising the option of going to court or the variation of the conditions of bail. As it is now, we have filed this application in the court. Nevertheless, we are hoping to receive the second person to stand as surety and the documentation to justify, and we will be ready for the discharge of the Wontumi.
Okay, help us here. What's the link between his invitation to the CID headquarters? At least now we know why he's in custody with the EOCO, but particularly the CID headquarters.
The CID headquarters, they invited chairman to come for some interview, which he did, and the subject of that invitation was the allegation that he was involved in mining without license, and he had polluted some rivers in the western region, and that he didn't provide justification for so doing. And the invitation to EOCO is premised on allegations of causing financial loss to the state. So these are different subject matters for inquiry.
Okay, how did that CID invitation go? Of course, we know that he walked there himself. We brought it live to our audience. But as the CID proceeding with anything at all, I know that you're not in court yet, but is he denying or accepting all of these charges against him?
Well, we have responded to all such questions. And in all the allegations they make, Wontumi has responded in the negative. So it is up to the investigating authorities to prepare and lay the charges. And let us not forget that in that speak, not a single charge has been leveled against Wontumi.
Okay, if you can kindly position yourself as well so we can hear you. So right from the CID, the EOCO as well picked him. We don't even know whether there's another investigative body that's lurking around so that if he is released from EOCO detention or EOCO custody, he might just maybe be picked up as well. How is he feeling with all of these things happening?
No, he is not. He is not too happy with the situation, having been discharged from CID headquarters for him to be picked. But if they have any reason to invite him, we will always respond to the invitation. The only complaint we have is the mode of doing it. And you see, the mode of application of restrictions on his movement. If the CID or any other institution wants to interrogate him, he has declared his intention to, as much as possible, respect the invitation of any of the security agents. There is no reason or justification why there is always an attempt to frustrate his participation administration or to even attempt to forcibly bring him to negotiation or interrogation table. He has indicated that as much as possible, if he receives an invitation from any of the security agencies, he will avail himself.
So far, which of the investigative bodies do you think have breached procedure? And I'm asking because of the mode. The EOCO, what would they have done differently? How would you have expected them to go about this?
If they had invited him to come to EOCO, as the CID did, they would have come. And he has always given that indication that whoever wants to interrogate him is ready. And also because CID invited him, and don't forget he came from Kumasi, but he honored the invitation. The second day, he honored it. And indeed, he said it yesterday, except that he was come. So there is no reason for us to believe that the invitation to him will not be honored, and that he will have to be accosted in the middle of the road and arrested in the middle of the road. This is the mode of doing the arrest that we are complaining about.
Okay. Now, beyond the mode, procedurally so far, has EOCO done what it has to do, or it's gone excessive beyond the mode that you're talking about now?
Procedurally, indeed, EOCO has the mandate to effect arrest, and they did. He was subjected to interrogation, and he cooperated. We applied for being granted, and they set up the conditions of the bail, and we complained about it. We thought that it was too high and too expensive and very harsh. Nevertheless, the institution also thought that this is what they would do without listening to our prayer for reduction of the conditions. I don't see anything untoward about the procedure, but I'm fully confused about the mode of exercise of the authority that we have, and also the target of the bill quantity as high 6 million, making it difficult to be able to attract storage to ensure this comes.
Right. So you had dinner with your client 2 days ago. So far, have you had any challenge assessing your client anytime you need access to him?
Anytime I need to see my client, I need to be led by officials of EOCO. And as it is happening now, I'm on the road to see my client, and I have applied for officials to facilitate my entry into the place where my client is being kept.
This escort, it begins from, where does the escort usually begin and where does it end? Do you have privacy in having conversation with him?
Well, I would demand privacy having conversations with him. Indeed, I think that my client, he has that right to demand privacy, and I will do this because consultation with my client doesn't require the presence of any other third party.
So far, you have not felt that you have been denied access in any way?
Well, I wouldn't say it is limited access that I have, and that is why we are complaining. Because, for example, the whole day, it is only just now that I have the possibility of accessing my client. And in any case, if you also see a client that you need to make an application and go through a procedure for approval, if that is not an easy arrangement for you to be able to enjoy a right.
I mean, you mentioned that you're not quite happy about the mode in which he was invited or accosted, or however they got him to the EOCO office to start their procedure. But so far, procedurally, you don't think that EOCO has breached any procedure. But for substantive measures, does he feel violated in any way? Rights, I mean. Substantively, does he feel violated in his rights anyway?
The video?
No. So you have concerns about the mode in which he was picked up or accosted in the middle of the road, which you're not happy about. Procedurally, you think that EOCO is also doing what they have to do. But does your client in any way feel violated in any way in his human rights at all, any way at all?
Well, I wouldn't say so, because EOCO has that mandate and they have that responsibility, except that I would have thought that a direct invitation to him would have achieved the same result. So just accosting him in the middle of the road without him knowing anything about any such arrest was so, yeah.
The Ashanti Regional Chapter for the NPP is accusing the EOCO of denying his family access to him. Is this true?
That is true, because he has not. In fact, me as a lawyer, I need to apply for the application to be approved before I can see. And indeed, I have to be led by an official from EOCO. So I don't see the public of my tribe succeeding in such an application. So far, and his phones have been taken away from him. So he cannot be reached, and he cannot also reach out to anybody. And that is a restriction on his access to his own public.
Is this strange? Is this strange considering what the Attorney General says he's been investigated for? At this point, procedurally, do you think that they're going beyond, denying him access to his phones, to his family as well? Is this a violation in any way?
Yes, I think it's a violation somehow, because I would have thought that he should be given the opportunity to see his family or public him, and to deny him that access, it's worrisome.
Will you seek any form of redress in this particular situation, or you're only concerned about the bond variation?
At the appropriate time, we will address that concern.
So in seeking in getting the surety to meet up,
to the hospital.
Okay, you're going to where he is now at the hospital?
No. Say again.
Did I hear you say you're on your way to the hospital, or you're there at the hospital?
I'm on my way.
You're on your way to the hospital. And so you're en route with escorts from EOCO, or is usually when you get to the hospital that the EOCO personnel will accompany you with him? Paint a picture for me.
I had to contact EOCO to express the desire to see my client, and EOCO has nominated some staff to come along with me.
How many men are we talking about?
I have yet to see them, because there is big confusion at that point.
Okay. Talking about...
Your call has been put on...
Well, we're trying to get more information from Chairman Wontumi's lawyer Apia Kubi. And when we try and reconnect, I can just see that he's just received a call. And if he's done, we'll be able to reconnect to really understand. Because, of course, working hours would also matter. So that when they get the surety and they're able to meet his bail conditions, will it be too late? Does the time matter? Do we think that he's still going to be in custody, or he just might, get some freedom at least today? We're also learning that he says that they're seeking application to vary the bail bond or the conditions so that at least it will be reduced. But I'll take you back to the EOCO headquarters and then see what's happening over there. Recall that the Ashanti Region NPP chapter is strongly condemning the arrest and continued detention of its chairman, Bernard Enchiboisiako, calling it a violation of democratic principles. Party leaders as well criticized the sudden transfer of Chairman Wontumi from the Criminal Investigation Department to the Economic and Organized Crime Office, questioning the necessity and transparency of EOCO's role. Now, they also claim his family and lawyers have been denied access, and that he has been deprived of medical attention, which you have just been hearing from his lawyer, that, well, he has access, except he has to go through some procedures, except his family still does not have access to him, including his phones as well. I'll let you listen to that first before I take you live to EOCO headquarters.
strike us as odd when, after his engagement with the CID at the national headquarters, he was ambushed and taken away by operatives of the EOCO. What kind of investigations EOCO would undertake that the CID is incapable of performing? Ladies and gentlemen of the media, our greatest worry is the procedure employed in arresting Wontumi. The apparent show of power running counter to good practices inherent in democratic system of law have clearly been abused. The lawyers handling this case are most often denied access and are in most times not able to tell the family, friends, and party officials the whereabouts of Bernard Entwiboasiako. Not being so well, he has been denied access to a medical facility of his choice. We believe that this is not the system of governance that Ghanaians subscribe to. After our checkered political history, Ghanaians eventually subscribe to be governed by a democratically elected government. The strongest element in democracy, which makes it the most preferred system of governance, is the rule of law. And under this is a due process of law. Our position is that if the state believes that Wontumi has infringed on any of our laws, we respectfully call upon the actors of political power to be guided by the principle of due process of law as espoused by the venerable English judge Lord Hardwicke, who in 1742 said, "There cannot be anything of greater consequence than to keep the streams of justice clear and pure, and that parties may proceed with safety both to themselves and their character," unquote. So, by due process of law, I mean the measures authorized by the law so as to keep the streams of justice pure, to see that trials and inquiries are fairly conducted, that arrests and searches are properly made, that lawful remedies are readily available, and that unnecessary delays are eliminated. Credit to Lord Denning. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, it is by these standards that we call upon the EOCO to be guided with. We admit that no single individual is above the law. However, we reiterate the rendition given by Lord Denning and ask these questions. Are we keeping the streams of justice pure and clear? Are the inquiries fairly being conducted right now? Are the arrests and searches and detention of Wontumi properly made? No. And is EOCO ready to eliminate unnecessary delays in giving justice to Wontumi? No. Respectfully, we believe that the answers to all the above questions are a big no. We call upon EOCO to exercise its discretion in a judicious manner to reconsider its bail terms as it is within their discretionary power so to do.
You're still live on The Pulse. I'll take you back to EOCO headquarters where we understand some NPP MPs are currently on the ground. Let's take you. James, what more can you report from EOCO headquarters?
A number of the NPP MPs are arriving here at the EOCO headquarters. I saw around the MP4 New Jobbing, who is Michael Ochrebefi. He's here, as well as Equiapim North MP and a former national organizer of the party, Samye Uku. I also saw a while ago the Nana Komia, who is also a leading member of the party, all of them hanging around, including the regional chairman who we spoke to in the morning, Divine Agohom. I saw the former majority leader, Osache Mensah Bonso, also a while ago. I'm attempting to cross the road and have a few words with some of the MPs to know if this is part of the beginning of their protest. Honorable Michael Ochrebefi is here. Honorable, Good afternoon. Thank you for your time. You are live on the Pulse on Joy News. You have arrived here. I've seen a few of your colleagues. Is the entire minority going to be here to continue the protest?
This is a protest of MPP, you know. So anybody who is part of the fraternity can decide to come and show solidarity. That is the essence of whatever we are doing. I believe seriously and strongly that it is high time these people change their mind on what they are doing. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it is absolutely stupidity at the highest level for this thing to be happening in modern day Ghana, a place we call Ghana, where we believe in rule of law, where we are being ruled by a constitution. I mean, nobody should behave like this. And so we are here not because we are part of the minority, but because we are MPP. It is MPP business.
I'm asking because the caucus yesterday marched to this place, and before you left, you promised that you'll be coming back. I'm asking in regard of that. Are we going to say that?
We're not giving marching orders today to come, but we will come as individual party members, MPs who are also party members. And what we are doing, we want to achieve one thing. We want to be able to get these people to release the original chairman of the NPP in Ashanti region. That is all we are looking for. We believe that you have to follow procedure. The process has been established clearly. I mean, you cannot decide to deviate or do something to please your own self. How can you come up with a bail condition that is so outrageous? That doesn't make sense to the ordinary person. And that is what we believe must cease henceforth, so that at least he will be granted bail. What is important is that it is just an allegation. Somebody has raised issues against him. I mean, file charges or whatever. He has to go to the law court for a court to decide or determine whether what they are saying is true or not. That is the most important thing. It is not about deciding to blatantly go against the principle of habeas corpus. I mean, saying that somebody must be in the custody of the police or whatever, security agency, 48 hours plus without access to the court to listen to him. That's not fair. That's exactly where we are trying to show solidarity and also push them to do something about it.
There's a whispers we are getting that he is probably transferred to the NIB headquarters. Can you confirm that for us?
Yeah, but we are so sure that he is not here. But the reason why we are here is not because he's here or not. It's because EOCO arrested him. They arrested him. So the assumption is that we have come to a place that he was arrested. And these people are in charge of the case. So BNI is they are just keeping him. They are just giving him shelter. That's all. But the real case is with these people.
Which means, as we speak, your official information indicates that he's at the BNI.
We know. We are so sure about that he's not here. That one we know. But this cannot continue. I mean, Raymond Acha, I mean, you know what you are doing is not good. And nobody is supporting or nobody is encouraging wrongdoing or anything. What we are interested about is rule of law. Let us follow the process of the law. Let the law work. That is all that we are talking about. But if you decide to do things to please your own self, and note that we are human beings, it can create a lot of problems. It can elicit a reaction that will be very negative, and that will come. You see, because as you push us up, we'll get tired, and if you get tired, we'll start misbehaving. And when we start misbehaving, you talk about it. Ghanaians will not be happy, because now for me, I'm so sure that we have to be very aggressive. I'm convinced beyond every reasonable doubt that we have to be very aggressive and maybe destructive.
Does that aggression include you maybe spending the night here?
Not just spend the night, creating problems.
Like what?
I mean, it is pregnant. That statement is pregnant, and we will be able to open up.
Which some people would be surprised coming from the lawmaker.
No, but these people are not behaving. I mean, as also people who believe in the law. These people, they are not law-abiding citizens. Clearly, everybody knows that what this guy is doing is absolutely stupid. Stupidity at the highest level. It doesn't make sense. It is senseless for anybody to behave like this. Take the person to court. Let the person come out with, his defense, and the law court will determine whether what is going on or whether the case have merit or not, and then the court will take a decision. But in this case, you have just taken your own decision without listening to the person, without giving him access
So you are not spending the night here today?
We don't know. I mean, anything can happen. But the point is that we are so sure that if by 6 or 7 p.m., if Chairman Wontumi is not released or granted bail, Ghanaians will see something different in this country.
When is the Vice President arriving?
I can't tell. I can't tell for now.
Okay. Thank you. Honorable Michael Ochirbefe is the MP for New Joabing. And Carlos, the information we are getting now is that Honorable Chairman Wontumi, I should say, is currently in the custody of the National Investigations Bureau. And that information also indicates that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia should be going to the premises of the NIB instead of the EOCO headquarters, which would mean that we would have to trace that and keep listeners updated. And so that's the situation here. But the warning from the Honorable Michael Ochirbefe is that they may get distracted if Chairman Wontumi is not released by by the evening of today, 7 p.m. And so that's the latest we are getting. I actually saw a number of the other MP, which I indicated earlier, but their cars have just drove off. They've driven off the place, which means that they are all heading to the NIB headquarters, and that's what we should be tracing now as we speak, MFA.
Thank you so much, James. And while James is tracing that information, because we just spoke to his lawyer who said that he was headed to the hospital, but as to which of the security agencies that he is in custody with, we're yet to find out, whether it's the National Investigation Bureau. We'll bring you all of that updates. But also, we're learning that the former president, Nana Akufo-Addo, was earlier in Tamale, however, is flying back to Accra. Let's find out whether it's all in connection with the detention of Chairman Wontumi. I'm going now on the line to speak to Haruna Mohammed, Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. What was it that was happening in Tamale, and why is the former president flying back to Accra? Is it in connection with Chairman Wontumi's matter?
Thank you very much, Emeka. Actually, the former president has an official visit to the Northern region in connection with the funeral of late Yaulana Abdullahi, whose final funeral rites was performed yesterday, and today was the final adua of which His Excellency the former president has attended. Per his schedule, he was due to return back to today to Accra, and that is why he's returning. I cannot say on official record whether he's returning because of Chairman Wontumi's case. However, he's coming back on his official trip, and the president will be touching down in Accra in a moment from now.
But with everything that's happening, what's his reaction to it? How does he feel about it?
Well, you know, he's a human rights lawyer, and he's very mindful of what is happening. All of us as a party, we are worried of what is happening. But what we are not surprised is that a party that came from the Provisional Defense Council, PNDP, is bringing back those particular brutalities to fight and intimidate the members of the New Patriotic Party. However, as a lawyer as he is, we believe that we will take the law force and make sure that Chairman Wontumi is released.
Have you briefed the former president that the party supporters, including some members of parliament, have been picketing at EOCO and currently are making their way to NIB, and if that is something he supports?
The former president is briefed any point in time, any activity that is happening. He has his fingers across. He's been talking to certain individuals within the party, and I believe that he's properly briefed, and at the appropriate time, if there need be that he speaks, he will speak.
But for you, as the Deputy General Secretary, let me just pick your thoughts on a few things. It won't be the first time a citizen in this country is invited by an investigative agency, for example, the EOCO. You hardly will see family and friends picketing in front of their headquarters demanding his release when there are legal tools which we can use. This approach, is this something you support? Especially one of your members of parliament has just been saying that they just might resort to aggression. What would you say to that?
Demonstration is illegality in Ghana. Gathering and also going to support people are legal means in Ghana. Those gathering there, nobody went there with cane, nobody went there with cutlass, nobody went there with gun. So going to visit a family member when the member is arrested is grounded in law. And I don't think that they go in there to give solidarity to Wontumi is out of the law. So in this particular defense, the NPP is very clear in their mind, and the members of Parliament who have gone there are doing so on the course of the law.
Right. While I appreciate and understand that, of course, picketing and demonstrations are illegal instruments that we can use, we have also seen the excesses of such crowds where when supporters are, when security personnel are unable to manage the behavior of supporters, you don't think that this can escalate quickly?
If the security doesn't want to get this matter escalated, they should stop it by making sure that the right thing is done. It's beyond 48 hours. The man went to bank and took a facility. He went there with a guarantee. If they think that it is something that they need, they should go after the guarantee, not the person. You cannot put a 50 million surety on one individual. For what? What was the amount of the facility and what is the law? And this is a civil matter. You don't go to that extent. So I don't think that if this thing degenerates, we must take the security agent and EOCO into court because they are the cause of that particular degeneration.
So
unfortunately,
for what we
discussed, will be taken off, and I might not be able to continue further on the interview unless we touch down.
It will be a short fly-in from Tamale to Accra. We might be live on Joy News. We'll be hoping to reconnect with you when you touch down.
Immediately I touch down, I'm going to either NIB or I'm going to EOCO. Wherever time I want to meet, I'm going to stay there.
We shall connect with you then. Thank you so much for talking to us. You're watching The Pulse. You want to stay with us as we bring you every update that will happen either at the EOCO headquarters or the National Investigative Bureau, or even with his lawyer saying that he's visiting him at the hospital. Stay with us. This is The Pulse.